here in 2024, the first quarter of the year, the central banks bought more than any first quarter in history, surpassing 2023 first quarter, which was the most in any time in history. And when you look at the central banks, which are the most well-informed traders in the world, let alone the wealthiest, they're buying gold and silver and commodities at a level the world has never seen before, especially gold. And what is gold? You know, how many people know that the Bank of International Settlements reclassified it as a tier one reserve asset? And next to US dollars and treasuries, central banks, those are the only tier one assets that's their world, right? It's a riskless asset. And maybe this has something to do with the Bundesbank of Germany and the Dutch National Bank and the Bank of Austria, Hungary, Turkey, the Polish National Bank, the Czech National Bank, all repatriating their gold from the New York Fed. And then there has been recently a tremendous drive out of Africa and the Middle East. Countries are repatriating their gold again. And this time it took a little while to find out. In fact, even Senator Mooney from West Virginia asked for a Freedom of Information Act to tell us which of the countries were pulling their money out. But indeed, there is a whole bunch of countries, including Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, Senegal, Cameroon, Algeria, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia, all pulling their gold back from the Federal Reserve in New York, because what gold represents, to your point about confiscation, cannot be confiscated from these countries. It cannot be sanctioned the way that the Treasury market and the dollars can. And going around the world, and in a very hypocritical way, at least the way they think it's hypocritical, when we go in and say to China, you can't give any money to Russia. You can be friends with them, Janet Yellen said. Well, thank you, Madam Secretary. But you give any money to the Russian war machine, we will sanction your banks, your companies, and even Beijing. Forget about the fact that we've given $200 billion to the Ukraine with no congressional oversight. We're the world reserve currency. We can do that. And so the world is pushing back against the hegemony, the hypocrisy, and the stupidity of what we're allowing to happen in this country. So if it were just that mismanagement, if it was just that, I think the world would overlook it, thinking that we had our act together. But I think there are a lot of people out there, a lot of countries who are saying, what the hell's going on in that country? And it's increasing the speed at which we see massive de-dollarization and de-treasurization. And they're doing that with gold, and primarily with gold and with oil, and to a lesser extent, silver at the same time.